coronavirus continues to cause concerns all across the globe. What a local health director is saying when it comes to treatment here in Southeast Texas.
Plus, a guilty verdict for an Orange County man who murdered his roommate in 2017. Today, Samir Rafiq will be sentenced for the crime.
And a massive water main break floods the streets of Houston and leaves the entire city without drinking water.
You're watching Daybreak on 12 News.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 12 News Daybreak. I'm Tracy Kennick.
Happy Friday to all of you. I'm Vanessa Broussard.
And I'm meteorologist Jeff Gerber. Another cold one out there this morning. Some 30s, some lower 40s. You'll need the jacket at least. A lot of folks will want the coat before they walk out the door. We only need the umbrella today. It's going to be in one of those sunny days. Once again, we'll see maybe a couple of high clouds here and there. We start off around 40 degrees this morning and push our way all the way up into the upper 60s. So it should be fairly nice this afternoon. A little bit of a west wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. If you like the weather today, I think you're going to like the weather maybe even a little bit more tomorrow or Sunday as we'll get into the lower 70s. Looking good for the weekend. We do bring some rain showers back into the forecast next week. We'll show you all the numbers for this weekend and next week in our 7-day forecast in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Well, we begin in Houston this morning. Check it out. The 610 East Loop is back open after this crazy day in Houston yesterday. The entire city, though, is under a boil water notice, and all Houston schools are closed today. It all started after a massive water main break. Matt Dowdry is breaking down how the community was affected.
On a typical Thursday night, this stretch of restaurants and businesses along Lower Westheimer would be busy. But not tonight, where many of our favorite spots are dark and locked. True to its motto, Katz's is still open.
We saw on the news that we're supposed to close. We did, and we were doing only to-go orders.
But that only lasted for 2 hours. Dante Hernandez says the restaurant opted for to-go orders, but soon returned to full service.
Randomly, I go to the restroom to check, make sure that we still have water, and everything is fine. We're doing good. We're doing good, yes.
The mayor says if restaurants have no water, they have to close, and city inspectors will be checking. At grocery stores across town, the rush for bottled water has left shelves dry. This woman at the Texas Medical Center has her hands full. Here, hospitals are taking emergency measures. Surgeries that can be postponed are being rescheduled. Portable toilets are being brought in along with body wipes. Visitors are asked to stay at home for now. At the University of Houston, classes are canceled tomorrow. The dining halls have closed, and students living on campus are making use of food trucks until the water comes back. School is also canceled for students in HISD. The entire school district and administrative offices won't reopen again until Monday.
Well, the Houston Zoo is also closed today, and even some early voting locations had to close their doors. City officials say they're working diligently, though, to get everything cleaned up and running normally as soon as possible. Coronavirus concerns continue to sweep the nation this morning. This as Capitol Hill attempts to figure out just how much funding is necessary to calm the fears of the American people.
We have team coverage on the deadly virus this morning as we work to spread facts and not fear. But first, here are 3 things you need to know on this Friday. The CDC has confirmed there is a patient in California who contracted the coronavirus through community spread. That means that the person had not traveled abroad recently and had no contact with anyone who is sick with the virus.
Also, there is currently a lot of debate going on in Washington on emergency spending to help combat the virus. It's estimated it could cost billions of dollars. President Trump made a statement saying that the issue should not be a partisan one.
And third, here in Southeast Texas, our local leaders are responding to the growing concerns among residents and preparing for if a case were to arrive in the Golden Triangle.
Well, with the rising concerns across the country, we're asking you, Southeast Texas, are you doing anything to prepare to help fight the coronavirus? You can vote right now on our 12 News Now app or on our website.
We now start our team coverage as 12 News reporter Rachel Keller takes a deeper look into how the government is attempting to respond. Rachel.
Good morning. Yeah, Vanessa and Tracy, stocks plummeted yet again yesterday, making this the worst week on Wall Street since the 2008 financial crisis. Many people are wondering how exactly the government will respond. Here's what we know so far. Congress is working to iron out the details on funding to help contain the virus. President Trump has requested roughly $2.5 billion in emergency funds, but Democrats on the Hill believe that is not nearly enough money for testing, equipment, and vaccine development. President Trump believes this should be above politics and that his quick decision to close the border has helped limit the amount of people infected in the United States.
I think the Democrats should not try and make this, or the Republicans should not make this a political issue. This is above politics. Again, we closed the borders very early. We didn't let certain regions of the world come in. By doing that, we really saved a lot. We made a great decision, took a lot of heat over that decision, but it turned out to be the right decision, and that's why we're at 15 and other places have many more.
The CDC has sent out a warning that an outbreak in the U.S. is all but inevitable. The president remains optimistic, saying that he does not believe that is the case. The first human trial for a coronavirus treatment is currently underway in Nebraska, but a potential vaccine probably will not be ready for at least a year. For now, in studio, Rachel Keller, 12 News.
Thank you, Rachel. Yesterday, we told you about how officials with West Orange Cove CISD and Little Cypress Mauriceville had a health scare.
12 News reporter Kate Sauter has an update about the possible exposure of the virus. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Tracy and Vanessa. Things are getting back to normal after the CDC and Health Department confirmed that there was no real exposure or threat to students and staff. Hardin County Health Director Sharon Whitley says there are no confirmed cases in Orange County. Whitley says when there was a fear, they collaborated with the hospital to make a plan. Anytime there's a suspected case, an initial assessment is done to determine if the person should even be tested.
One of them is to make sure that person hasn't been to one of the infected areas or around someone that has been to in the affected areas. And also, if they have been around a healthcare worker that may have, came in contact with a patient that may have been exposed.
Now in Port Arthur, the Toccoa Academy campuses have reopened this morning after being closed for cleaning yesterday. In total, 5 campuses across Orange and Port Arthur were all sanitized yesterday, and now classes are getting back to normal today. In studio, I'm Kate Sauter, 12 News.
Now for your morning rush, the Orange County man found guilty of murdering his roommate is expected to be sentenced today. Samid Rafiq was convicted of murdering Nathaniel Anderson and also tampering with evidence. The 2 men were roommates at a mobile home park. Anderson was first reported missing in June of 2017. His body was found a few months later in Pinehurst. An alleged armed robber is sitting in the Jefferson County Jail this morning. Marquise Green has been charged with aggravated robbery at the Timbers Edge Apartments on Pinchback Road in Beaumont earlier this month. Police believe that Green was not alone during the robbery. His bail has been set at $750,000. Now to an update on the Viter fatal hit and run we first told you about Wednesday on Daybreak. The Orange County man who is believed to be the driver turned over his truck to police. According to reports, he says he thought he hit a deer on North Main Street. Police identified the victim as 25-year-old John Stanley. Authorities say the driver is cooperating with the investigation. The 5 victims of Wednesday's Milwaukee mass shooting have now been identified. This comes after a gunman opened fire at a brewery. The gunman died at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was an employee that had been fired earlier in the day. Last night, a prayer vigil was held at a local church there for the victims and their families. And that's your morning rush. Now back over to Jeff.
Cold temperatures out there again this morning. You'll need to bundle up a little bit. Might not need that coat this afternoon, though. We'll look at today's highs coming up.